What's up, all you sexy people out there? Welcome back to Jason's Corner. It's not really a corner, it's just a wall, Jason's wall, with my wine box in the back and my new portable shitty record player. Yeah, but we got the good tunes, all that matters. What we're listening to right now, Marco Ribas, his second album, self-titled, I don't know. I've been thinking about a couple of videos we want to do. I think one of my most watched videos, I'm pretty sure my most watched video was my 10 Brazilian artists albums for any collection or something like that. Like a starter, pretty common Brazilian artist starter. If you're just kind of getting into collecting Brazilian music, so I figured, but it's funny, I did one that was more like contemporary, Samba Sujo, and it had like probably my worst views, which is fine, I don't care, whatever. Just trying to find something that people, just thinking about like, oh, what's interesting, I don't know. I was just doing new vinyl finds. I haven't been that involved enough to jump on Threads. I've had some vinyl tags and stuff that I set the records out, I just never got around to doing it, but I want to do something like this, so this is like my Brazilian 11 Brazilian records artists that won't under the radar, won't break the bank. I try to stay under anything under $100, which might seem like a lot to a lot of people, but to some people who've been spending way too much money on records, it's a lot for sure, but not like unheard of to spend more than $100. But I have records that are worth more than that. I tried to stay away. I do have one for sure that's over that, but it was like the record that kind of gave me the idea, so I kind of had to throw it in. It's not that much. I paid less than $100 for it, but I bought it like a long time ago. But anyways, this is Marco Ribas. I might do like a soul. I tried to pull, but I had a bunch and I pulled some stuff out. I think I might do like a soul funk Brazilian. And I wanted to save this, but this record's so good. And this is like one of the first records I bought when I started kind of buying records straight from Brazil. Like back in like 16 or 17. So it's kind of special. I haven't listened in a while. But yeah, this thing is just a beast, dude. I mean, I think technically labeled as Free Funk. But this is Marco Ribas. I don't think, he doesn't get very much recognition. People know who he is, I think, because he had it's called Zamba Bang on his first album that was sampled by Marcel de Deutsch. So that's a huge song. But nobody really talks about or listens to this, talks about this second album. This thing is just a beast, like funk, it's free funk. But he's so good, it's like jazzy funk, very loose as you can hear. Yeah, I love Marco Ribas. He did some stuff on, he played with Kudamin as well. He did a track with Kudamin, with like a newer artist, Brazilian artist. But yeah, I would say his first two are essential. The other stuff he does after that, I only have his first two. But yeah, this record, I think this was right, clocked in the meeting, was right at 100, so. But yeah, you could probably, I think there was copies for less than that. I don't know how good they were, but something that's, you could probably, I think I found mine on eBay for like $40. Again, this was like 6 years ago, but still. If you're kind of looking, you can find it. But yeah, I love that. I love this album. I did we did a Festa Junina, which is it's like the June festival. It's kind of like a religious thing. And I was just putting playlists together, and I had like 3 tracks on this I wanted to spin. This is like a beast record if you want to like spin records, like DJ style. This is my next one. This is Walter Franco, Revolver. Go to track on here. I think it's the 4th track. I tried to listen to these before and get a little to kind of figure out what I wanted to play, but I don't have shitty light out here. This song's dope. This is another one I was gonna play in that party, but Walter Franco, most of these are like I said, there's one over 100, but there's one that I actually bought for like $2. So it runs the gamut. Most of these are cheaper, like 50 or less. I don't know how much this one. I can't remember. I think I paid more because it's like a really nice copy. Walter Franco Revolver. He was actually on the Nurse with Wounds list. I think for his first. This is his second album. I can't remember when it came out. I think it's mid-70s. His first album is like insane. 75. This one's 70. His first album's from like maybe like early 70s, late 60s. I think it's early 70s. It's like really kind of crazy, avant-garde. Yeah, just wild stuff. This one's a lot more accessible. I think his first album it's kind of known between people who like kind of weird Brazilian music, but I don't think this one's a nice gambit. Has a little bit of the like avant, but it's pretty straightforward. It's got some nice like rock funk kind of stuff. This song's probably a little bit more like funk palatable kind of. But yeah, I love this record. Highly recommend this. Yeah, Walter Franco's the man. No one really talks about this guy. And when I kind of say under the radar, like Marco Ribas, people know. I'm talking about more. It's like the more you know, the more I don't know. The more you, I guess I think a lot of people know a lot of these Brazilian artists, but I think a lot of people that probably don't. But when I'm talking about like Brazilian collectors that I follow that like know a lot of this stuff. So even I try to use the Gage as the guy that I buy from in Brazil. Like a lot of these, he doesn't even really know, and he's got like an insane collection. Like he obviously knows Marco Ribas. I think he sold me this copy of Walter Franco and the first one, so he knows who Walter Franco is. But I don't think I don't think he keeps this record in his collection, and maybe he does. I don't know, but yeah, I love this record. Walter Franco. He's got like a nice white suit. It's got like this cool breakdown too in the middle. I'm probably gonna chill a little bit on buying records too. I hope I am. I've been getting burned a lot buying stuff. Again, I took a big break on Whatnot and I started buying in, just getting records that are terrible condition. So hopefully I'm gonna start doing some more stuff like this, or just kind of go through records in my collection. I know you kind of forget that you amass all these records. A lot of stuff I really want, I get it, and then I just never listen to it. So I was sampling a lot of these tonight, so it's just a good excuse to kind of listen to music I don't really listen to that much. That's enough of that. I want to kind of sample all these, but I don't want to take too long because I didn't do a ton of research on all these people. Some of them I did, but yeah, I like the music. It's really good. It's kind of like, this one's a little more rock. But you can see he's like synth. It's a little bit kind of avant. He does some weird vocal stuff. This one I was kind of debating showing or not, but I was just listening to it and reading it. This is Itamar Assumpção. I was actually going to show his first record, but I think I like this one better. This is his second studio album. He had one in between that was a live album. This is Sampa Midnight. But yeah, this is really good. I'll do the second to last track. Let me see. There we go. Itamar Assumpção. But he does stuff, it's kind of like rock, reggae, funk, rock. That's what kind of Discogs kind of combine, or I don't know if it's Spotify explaining him as. But his stuff is like really raw. He's a really good composer. His stuff sounds simple, but it's very very well arranged. It kind of like has, I want to play this song because it's kind of a really good example of everything that's kind of, he does. Like a lot of acoustic, like a lot of it has like a reggae kind of undertone, like just the kind of like the upstroke beat. But he has a lot of highlights, like a lot of like little piano riffs. He's got like a little, but not, it's not heavy. It's just like all these like highlights, guitar, horns. But it's very loose the way he sings, and it's kind of all over the place. Some of his stuff's kind of out, like total wild, like it's just like kind of a lot of vocal stuff going on. There's obviously a lot of like background vocal people singing, but his music's kind of like, some of his songs are kind of very avant-garde, but it's not jazz or anything. It's just kind of like just a lot going on. He's just a really amazing composer. And after listening to this, actually, because I think his first album came out in 81, he's 85, and then I have another one of his albums that came out in 2004, but I don't know when he recorded. I was trying to research it before this, but I didn't figure it out, because he died in 2003, but it was just released, I think, last year. This album he did with Nana Vasconcelos, so he must have, and I was reading his last album was recorded in 98, so he recorded from 81 to 98, so it must have been in maybe the early 90s he did that album. It was amazing. So just kind of like, I need to dive into some of his stuff that he did in between. He's got a bunch of albums. Most were pressed on vinyl, so someone I definitely have to dig into more. I have his first two, and like I said, that one. But he was part of the, what's the name of that movement? The Vanguard, I think it was called the Vanguard movement, like in Sao Paulo, around like the late 70s, early 80s. With another guy, actually, I have one of his records I was gonna pull that into, but I think about doing, like I said, I'm thinking about doing like a funk one and a jazz one. So besides the Marco Rivas, most of this stuff is kind of more in the kind of rock, MPB, little avant side of things. But yeah, this one, he's not really, I think people know who he is, but I don't think he's like very sought after. Like all these records probably, I think I got this for like $30, like a really clean copy. His first one too, it's pretty cheap. That one's a little bit more reggae, a little less of the highlights, but it's a very loose record. Like I said, I haven't heard the ones after, but I think he got a little bit more complex. He's like a very good arranger, composer, like deceptively, just because of the music. To keep in mind, this is like the 80s, so it's got like a little bit of early 80s, like an 80s, a little bit of 80s undertone to it. But yeah, it's more of some song. Yeah, I think, well, this one, I don't know what label it, I can't remember what label it's on, but his first one was self-released, so it's a little hard to find, but it's still pretty cheap. That was the first one I bought. I think it might be a little bit more expensive just because of its private release. Here's one. This one is really under the radar. Like, nobody really, I don't think, knows this one. It's a private press. Canto do Tempo, William Senna. William Senna's the artist. Like I said, it's private press. I'm just going to play the first track. But I love this record. I don't know. It's very, I mean, it's kind of a two-piece. It's mostly just him on guitar. He's like a very intricate guitar player. Has like kind of like a lot of reverb. I love the cover too. It's really cool. I don't remember where he's from in Brazil. But this one could still be pretty cheap. It's just really hard to find. I think I really wanted it, and I kind of paid up for it just because I wanted a clean copy, and I was trying to get it. But yeah, it's basically like mostly him on guitar. He's got some songs where he has a backup singer, like he's this girl. I think she might play a little bit of like hand drums too, or like light percussion. But yeah, like he's a very intricate guitar player. He did a follow-up album. He only has 2 albums on Egberto Gismonti's jazz label, and I was escaping me now. but it's like a very avant-garde 80s jazz label. They had like 20, and so he's got one of those on there. That one's even more like classical leaning, I would say. This one's a little bit more like acoustic, kind of MPB, but very intricate guitar. It's very full for just having like one or two people, or only one guitar player. But yeah, like you hear like light percussion on this track. Yeah, but I love this. Yeah, like I said, this is a private press. A record, I don't know how I just discovered it. It just like popped up on YouTube, but I think you can get a sample on YouTube. Yeah, and it's just not really well known. I don't know. I kind of like acoustic guitar stuff because I play acoustic guitar too, so somebody can hold it down on the acoustic guitar and sound kind of full. And I just like the way it was recorded, like a lot of reverb, and it just sounds very smooth. I mean, that's why I like Brazilian music too. One of the backup vocals. Yeah, this is really good. Highly recommend this, and his second album, which I can't think of the name of the label it was on. I don't think no, that's. It's all good. Let's play something. But yeah, it's just. Yeah, it's just as private. I think it's from North Brazil. I can't remember. I don't know. William Senna, Senna. But yeah, I think you could find that. I don't think it sells very often. I think it's hard to find, but no one's really looking for it, so I think you could still find it for definitely under $100. Here's like a beautiful record. This is Lula e Lucia. This was recommended me to Clara, by Crocodiscos way back in the day. What's the name of that track? I think it's the third track. I didn't know anything about this, but he recommended it to me when I first bought record. I think I traded for this back in the day. It's like very beautiful. It's these two girls, kind of like, again, like just acoustic guitar, but some like light percussion and maybe a little bit of like wind instruments and stuff. But yeah, which is a cool cover too. But yeah, their vocals are like beautiful. Lula e Lucia. I looked this one up. Yeah, I think you can find it under $100. I think Luli, she did an album like late 60s. It's like pretty sought after. I don't have it anymore. But it's really expensive. But the whole album's like this. It's kind of just very mellow, like beautiful, like them singing together, just kind of like play off each other with like kind of light percussion and kind of like acoustic jam. Highly recommend this. This is great. I think this is their first one they did together. It was late 70s. I think they did a few after as well. I think this is on Disco Cultura. You gotta love records that are kind of on like the culture, Brazilian culture labels or any country. Yeah, such a cool photo. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Been kind of interacting a little bit more on Instagram than YouTube, but I have been watching. I just watch when I like wash dishes or like driving, so a lot of times I don't end up commenting because I either like don't finish the video or I'll finish it and it's hard to comment when I'm like my hands are wet from washing dishes or driving. Yeah, definitely been watching, and I've been buying some stuff. Some recommendations Dave gave me from the new jazz. I bought a couple of those recently. I'm trying to sample stuff that sounds cool. And people were showing. It's just so hard. People, I mean, you watch some videos, I mean, people show like 20 records. You kind of just gotta pick one or two, maybe go by the cover. That's why I try to play a sample. I like to play a song. My videos are gonna be kind of long. I got 11. But yeah, let me cut this short because I actually got another one that I wanted to. By short, I mean the song. But yeah, that's a good one. I highly recommend that. But yeah, I like to play a track because then you get a little taste, and it's hard to. I'm not very good at explaining. So this is Marco Bosco Mezzo Madiera. And I want to play this. This is actually has a track that has Luli and Lucina on it, and it's not on, for some reason, on Spotify. It's the one song on the album that's blocked off, which is kind of annoying. So, but I have it. You're hearing it here. I might get this blocked. Who knows? I don't know. I don't really care. It's an amazing track. It's really good. Oh, Marco Bosco, he's a drummer. This is kind of jazz. It's hard to define. I mean, I would probably put it in the jazz genre, but he's a percussionist. Most of this album is either, it just has kind of just percussion only tracks, or there's some stuff with like synths, like field recordings. This is his first album. Yeah, he's a drummer, so it's very percussion heavy. He's got a couple songs like this where he's got some like singers, like backup. He's not a singer, so he's got some singers. But this song, I mean, this is, like I said, this is Luli Lucina. That was, I think this one's 78. I want to say it's 78. Doesn't say, but I think this one came out around the same time. And this is again another one guy, Marco Bosco. This is his first album. His second album came out on that same label as William Senna's second album. God damn, I can't think of the label. It's on the tip of my tongue. But it's Egberto Gismonti's label. I tried to collect it. Actually, I have like 5 records on that. It's a really cool like 80s jazz label. That record is the one I was looking for. I found this in Brazil. I bought this on my trip to Brazil. I was actually looking for a second album on that label, which is probably one of the more expensive ones on the label. But I found this one instead. And this one, again, I checked. This one was like under $100 median. I don't know. But it's a really cool record. I highly recommend it. This is probably my favorite song. It's a lot fuller. The other stuff, it's interesting. It's definitely a lot more avant-garde, kind of all over the place. Like I said, there's some songs with like synth and like there's one track that had like synth and like drum machine. It sounded like a drum machine. But there's a lot of just kind of simple percussion. It's like an interesting record. A little bit, we'll call it, I don't know if you say it ambient because it's just like a repetitive repetitive like percussion. This player sucks. I'm actually getting my Marantz receiver. It's in the shop. It's been in the shop for like a couple months. The guy's in like no hurry. I told him it's fine. But once I get that, I'm gonna get like a nice turntable out here. This is the one that I kind of wanted to do this whole video about because this is, I don't know if it's Private Press. I think it might be. Carioca Divas, Mistérios da Amazônia. This is like one of my favorite Brazilian records. I love this album. And what was the track? I don't even know. Does it really even matter? I think I was going to play the 4th one. But the second side is one whole track. It's like a 16-minute long track. So I think I wanted to play this one. The whole thing's amazing. Carioca. So he's a guitar player, as you can tell. This was his first album, and actually, I think he went on. I want to say, I think he did a follow-up album. He's got a few albums, but I think he did one of his albums on that label again, which is now I'm just like, it's killing me that I can't figure it out. I could look it up, I guess. Let me check. Should be easy enough. It is Carmo label. But yeah, this is really cool. This is like percussion heavy. But his albums after this, he's like very intricate guitar player again, kind of like William Senna. But the stuff after is very classical. This is a little bit more. I don't know what you call it. I don't want to say it's like Bahian. This is Mysteries of the Amazon. So I guess it's like kind of. It's more like indigenous Brazilian. Very heavy on the percussion. Almost sounds like a little bit Indian, like Eastern. A lot of percussion. And there was a record I showed in my last video. Sergio Otanazetra. So when I showed that record, he does most of the percussion on this record, and I didn't realize that because Zé Eduardo Nazario is also on here, which he's also a percussionist. I thought he did most of it. Zé Eduardo Nazario So Zé Eduardo Nazario plays tabla in efectos, and then where is that guy? I don't know. Isn't he on here? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in the Grupo Devas. So it says Karaoke Devas. So I guess Devas is made up of Sergio Otanazetra, which is the record I showed my last video. He plays percussion in general and voice. So I guess he does backup also and most of the percussion. And then there's Fernando. I don't know who that is. He plays the flute. And then there's special participation from Zé Eduardo Nazario plays the tablas. I didn't realize that Sergio Otanazetra, until I got that album, did most of the percussion on this. I thought it was the other way around, but I love this album. This is like Private Press. I think it's Private Press, pretty sure. This is like one of my favorite Brazilian records. Yeah, it's like one of those records I play. My wife's like, "What are we listening to? This is garbage." It's like a Brazilian record. She's like, "This is why I hate Brazilian music." Because maybe she doesn't like Brazilian music. I play weird ass Brazilian records, but it's very like Eastern leaning. It's really damn good. The whole thing's kind of like this. Most of the tracks have more backup vocals and stuff. I don't think this one does. I just really like the percussion in this. Yeah, it's just so damn good. But yeah, I don't know. His other stuff was good, but for sure this is my favorite. I would say it's Bahiana. It's like a bad because it's like Bahiana's like a more of like percussion heavy African influence. So I wouldn't say this is Bahian, but it sounds more like kind of Indian, like Eastern. Yeah, I got this a long time ago too. I scored. I looked. This one. Yeah, this one's like medium's like 150. So they did repress it though, so you can get a. I think they repressed it last year for the first time, so you can buy a cheap copy if you want to repress. I did get this for pretty cheap back in the day. Not that cheap, under $100, maybe like half what it goes for now. I saw it pop up a bunch. It took me a while, a year or two, before I actually jumped on it. I don't know. It actually took me a couple listens where I like just clicked one time, like, damn, this is really good. I'm glad I bought it. It's like I said, it's one of my favorite. It's like I have a really nice copy. Like I don't need to upgrade. The Louis Lucia, I was actually just reading. It comes with a poster. I didn't have a poster, so I might have to upgrade that eventually. But it's the sickness, you know what I mean? You gotta have a complete copy. Everything else I showed, I think I have a pretty nice copy of it. Actually, the Marco Ribas, I have, that's an upgrade copy. I had a worse copy. It was actually pretty good, but I traded to my friend. But yeah, I think that's a really nice copy, actually. Actually, yeah, I think the cover, everything's VG+. Like I said, but yeah, love this record. amazing. So I'm just kind of rambling on. I want to play like a track. I really like the music on these, and I haven't played a lot of these in a while, so it's nice to do so. This is a cool record. This is Claudio Clemente Clesio. I don't know what track I want to play. I think it's the first track on the side B. I can't remember. There's a couple really good bangers on this one. I think it's the first track. This player sucks. I need to get it. It's cool. It's nice. It's a portable player, but I've wanted a portable player in case they go to like a record show or something. I can put some headphones on and just. It's like the Newmark, the travel one. Yeah, this is the second one. But yeah, Claudio Clemente Clesio Sao Paiu. I don't know. But this is northern Brazilian music. I got a couple records that are like this, more like the traditional northern. It's kind of like a mix, almost like country a little bit. It's really good. But this one's awesome. It's like a nice mix. It's like groovy, and it's got like a little bit of fuzz guitar in this song in particular. There's like 2 or 3 like really amazing songs on it where it's like a lot of it is that more like the northern heavy, but then there's a couple where they mix a little bit of like kind of stuff like this, like a little groovier, like a little bit of fuzz guitar. Yeah, and this one is like pretty under the radar. I just like the cover, so I sampled it. I was like, damn, that's really good. But yeah, I saw this one at I think it was Mr. Bongo sale. I already had it, but so I was flipping through and someone was looking at my dude. That's it. Check that out. Yeah. And like I said, I think this one's pretty cheap. I remember there's a seller I dealt with, and he wanted like $80 for it or something. And I was already buying a few records, but there was a cheaper one on Discogs. I'm like, dude, I can get it for cheaper on Discogs. I'm glad I did, because this is like a nice copy, actually, and it's really hard. Brazilian sellers is always a gamble, and that guy ended up screwing me on just condition and other aspects of buying, but the one I got from Discogs was actually really nice, so super stoked on this. They did some albums after too. I think the album, I think it was the album after this is pretty decent too as well, but I think it's the first one. This is good. Like I said, it's kind of like very northern. I was actually gonna pull a Katia France album too, which is kind of the same vibe, but like northern, but like funkier. But she's like more well known. These guys are pretty. No, I don't. Not many people know who this is. Clodo. I think they're brothers. I have no idea. I can check. Maybe they're the same last name. They kind of look like brothers. Look like they're having a grand old time. Oh, this is RCA Victor. Doesn't say. They might be brothers, who knows. I just made it up. I mean, their names all sound kind of the same. Clamario. It's kind of a Clamario, Clesio. Yeah, that's a jam. There's a couple really good tracks. And it was appropriate too, because I don't know if I did spin it, but on the Festa Junina, it is more like a kind of like a country. The music is kind of like this, like accordion kind of stuff, like Domingo, if you know what that is. So I was kind of looking for music that had a little bit of that in it. And my mother-in-law like wanted me to play like straight that. I think my friend he just brought over his computer to play like Luis Gonzaga, which is kind of that. I only have a couple more. This one, I don't remember the track on this, but this is a banger, dude. This one, not many people don't know this one either. Roberto Nascimento. I forgot to sample the track, but there's a couple amazing tracks on this one. Maybe it's the third track on the A side. Oh, crap. Where's the B side? Is it the B side? I think it's the B side. This is another one I was gonna play. One of the tracks at the party, but yeah, this is amazing. This is on Tape Car. I think there's some Rhodes on this. Yeah. Again, this is another one where I was like telling the guy, Crocodiscos, I was like, man, you gotta get this record. It's so good. He like never heard of it, and he just didn't believe me. I don't think he ever got it. Never checked it out. I'm pretty sure there's some Rhodes on here. I know it's all in Portuguese. This is Oregon. Yeah, but this whole thing's awesome. Again, it has a little bit of a northern. This one is a little bit less. It's more predominant, like kind of like a groovy Brazilian MPB record with a little bit of a northern touch. There's like one or two songs where they kind of have, it's like pretty, very like that northern sound, but most of it's more come on the groovy side. Yet, like the other one is more like northern, but it has a little bit the groovier tracks. But like Brazilian music all has that kind of underlining samba, which is kind of like a groove. But this one's on Tape Car, and yeah, Tape Car. I like anytime I see something on Tape Car, it's usually gonna be good. It's a kind of a solid label. I highly recommend this one. This was another one's hard to find. Tape Car is a pretty big label, but just I don't think this wasn't very popular, I guess. I don't know. This is a nice one.
Já me haviam dito do teu requebrado, do olhar de mormaço, trejeito tremendo, que ser nunca sendo, mas eu jamais pensei. Eu nem sonhei.
Typical, I love the like backup singers.
Até que aconteceu da gente se encontrar.
It's like, yeah, this is why I like love Brazilian. They groove, the backup singers. That keyboard is just killing it.
Que bom mal-olhado me olhar. E agora eu não ligo, não vou. Não falo, ninguém que socorro. Não ando, não paro, não vou e nem volto. Não sumo, apareço, não lembro, me esqueço. Não bebo, não como, não.
And this guy, I think it's a one-off album. I don't think he did anything after this. He's just like a one and done. It sucks, man. Like, you feel like people who have these out, you know, have an amazing album and it just doesn't get picked up for whatever reason. They're done. Like, it sucks. Like, who knows what they would have done after this? Maybe it's all he had. Maybe he like had all these songs written for years and years and years, and that was it. He just wanted to do his one little album and be out, be gone with it, done with it. That's enough. I got a couple more, so let's just get this over with. Actually, the last one I don't really have to play that much, but it's like an insanely cheap record. It's a very popular, like my favorite artist, but like insanely cheap. So I kind of felt like I had to show it. I probably talked about it before. This guy, this one is Geraldo Vandré. This is Canto Geral. I'm gonna play the third track, maybe. So, Geraldo Vandré, Canto Geral. This record's pretty cheap. I think I got this for like $10, like a near mint copy. Yeah, this is very, very underappreciated. I feel like it is a little bit more MPB. Like this guy was doing like those competitions in Brazil. Brazil was known for having these like singing competitions where people would. It was almost like a sporting event where people would play a song and then like people would vote on it and shit. So it was like a huge thing in Brazil back in like the 60s. But this guy's a beast too, because I think this came out in 68, and there was 3 people I know that were exiled from Brazil for musicians. Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil, who are I know they're very outspoken, and then the third one is Geraldo Vandré. So he was kicked out of Brazil, and this is the album he did before he was kicked out. And he actually, Veloso and Gilberto Gil went to London. He actually ended up in Chile. Yeah, and the backup band on this is Quarteto Novo, which is like probably one of my favorite Brazilian jazz records. But it just has so the backup band is incredible. Like you can hear the music on this is insane. But it's very, Quarteto Novo is like a jazz record. A lot of the music on this is like very light. They do a good job, I guess, of just highlighting his songs, not like taking over. But they did the backup music for this before they became Quarteto Novo, which is like Hermeto Pascoal and Ayrton Moreira. So you have like these world class. Like one of my favorite Brazilian jazz records. They're doing backup for this. So yeah, just insane. And the music is I feel like it's a little dark, and I don't know the words. I don't really pay attention. But he's obviously singing about something kicked out of Brazil. So he's singing heavy. And this guy, I feel bad. I don't know if you guys know the Manduka record, but so Geraldo Vandré, who moved to Chile, Manduka came to Chile, and I don't know, but they obviously hooked up and were hanging out, because on the Manduka record he actually covers 2 Geraldo Vandré songs. So he was a huge influence on Manduka. Yeah, and there's actually this record, Geraldo Vandré. This is one he did in France after, I think in like 73. This came out about the same time as Manduka record. And yeah, and I feel like that Manduka record is amazing. Not that take anything against Manduka, but the backup band was Los Jaivas, which is like incredible. I feel like the two Manduka records owner, obviously the one with the big afro, and then the one he did with actually Los Jaivas, which is a Los Jaivas records with Manduka. So I feel like the reason that Manduka record is so incredible was because Los Jaivas was on it, and the music on this is incredible. I think it's really good. I don't want to say it's as good as the Manduka record. Obviously this is 73. He's been playing for like 15 years. So, but if Los Jaivas played on this album, I think it had the potential to be up there with unlike the Manduka. It kind of has that same very same style, the way that the song's written. I feel like, not to say it's the same. Like, I have nothing to take against Manduka, but I feel like if instead of doing this with some French musicians, if you did that with Los Jaivas, I think this could have been a classic as well. So yeah, very underappreciated Brazilian artist. But like I said, some of it's kind of ballady. This isn't like a 10 out of 10, but even this, some of the stuff starts out ballads, it kind of picks up. I think Quarteto Novo does a really good job about like picking their spots and highlighting the music and stuff. But yeah, the first 3 songs I think are all amazing. Kind of a little bit more edgy. But even this one like starts to pick up and kind of gets a little cool percussion. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, this thing's super cheap. Probably one of the cheapest Brazilian records I own. This thing is like near mint. Yeah, so very underappreciated. I think you can sample the whole thing on YouTube. I think I listened to it all on YouTube. But yeah, Quarteto Novo on this thing, on Odeon, and Cortez Nova was on Odeon. Yeah. And he did some cool stuff. I think he did an album with Baden Powell as well. I've been looking for that one, but it's hard to find the original. This is last but not least, Georgia Bain. They sent us the Poise. And, I mean, Georgia Bain's obviously highly regarded, but this album, I think, is a sleeper. I don't think anyone really appreciates. I don't see anyone ever talk about this album. I'm going to play the second track. This track this is like probably one of my favorite Brazilian tracks of all time. If you follow me, you've seen this record. But dude, if you're gonna get one Brazilian record, I think you should get this one, because I literally paid for this one. I paid like $10, but I bought my friend a copy of Brazilian Press, like a really clean Brazilian Press, once on eBay for like $2. Like nobody. It's a comp, which I get. I don't like comps, but this is like one of my only comps I own, because it's not just all the studio tracks thrown together. He does 3-song medleys of his like entire catalog 10 years into his career. So he like re-records everything as a 3-song medley. It's freaking funky as hell. This is a jam sesh, dude. I highly recommend this. So I got like a $150 record that I showed. I got I don't know if it's $2, but I got one for $2. You could literally get one for dirt cheap for this. For sure, under $20. You want to get one right now? I guarantee. Well, I don't guarantee anything, but I'm pretty sure you can go get one for like $10 or less than 20. So yeah, that's what I'm going out with. And this is the jam. I definitely played this at that party when I spun records. This is like jam right here. I probably play this album more than any Georgia Bain album, because I spin it every single time I play. Like if I'm playing for somebody, like at my friend's art show, or I'll say a party. I've only spun once at a party, but it's just insane. Georgia Bain is the king. Yes. So I'll leave you on this one. I hope everyone's doing well. Long ass video. I got some samples though. Skip forward. Don't skip forward. Watch. Cut it early. Do whatever you gotta do. Hope everyone's doing well. Peace.
Vai, vai, vai.
você tá no meu